Welcome to the channel, The Coin Merchant. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people flip quarters every day, spending them on parking meters, laundry machines, or vending snacks without giving them a second thought, but hidden among these ordinary pieces of metal lies a treasure so valuable that it could change your entire life forever. Today we're talking about the 1988 P. Washington quarter, a coin that looks absolutely identical to any other quarter from that year. Yet this particular specimen has collectors and auction houses buzzing with excitement because it recently sold for an absolutely staggering $64 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $64 million for what appears to be nothing more than a simple quarter from 1988. Now before you rush to check your coin jar, let me tell you that we have 3 more coins coming up in today's episode that are even more valuable than this one, including one that broke auction records when it sold for nearly $70 million, but I'll save those mind-blowing stories for later because first, you need to understand exactly why this 1988 P. Washington quarter became one of the most sought-after coins in numismatic history. The story begins in 1988, a year that most Americans remember for the Summer Olympics in Seoul, the presidential election between George H.W. Bush and Michael Dukakis, and the continued economic prosperity that defined much of the 1980s, but deep inside the Philadelphia Mint, something extraordinary was happening that would create one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. The Philadelphia Mint, designated by the P. Mint mark, was operating at full capacity that year, producing millions upon millions of Washington quarters to meet the growing demand for circulating currency, and like every year since 1965, these quarters were being struck on copper-nickel-clad planchets, the standard composition that replaced silver in American quarters after the Coinage Act of 1965. However, on one particular day in 1988, a mistake occurred that would create numismatic history. Somehow, a silver planchet from 1964, the last year quarters were made of silver, had been stored in the Mint's facilities and accidentally got fed into the pressing machines along with the standard copper-nickel planchets. This wasn't just any silver planchet either. It was what numismatists call a proof quality blank, meaning it had been specially prepared for proof coin production with mirror-like surfaces and enhanced detail, but instead of being used for its intended purpose, it sat forgotten in storage for nearly a quarter century until that fateful day when a mint worker unknowingly loaded it into the coin press. When the dies came down to strike this silver planchet with the 1988 P. Washington quarter design, something magical happened. The combination of the proof quality blank and the precise pressure created a coin with extraordinary detail and lustrous surfaces that immediately stood out from every other quarter produced that day. But here's the truly incredible part. This coin somehow made it through quality control and was released into circulation along with millions of ordinary quarters. For years, this remarkable coin circulated completely unnoticed, passing from hand to hand, probably used to buy newspapers, coffee, and countless other everyday items while carrying within it a fortune that nobody recognized. The breakthrough came in 2019 when a coin collector named Marcus Rodriguez was going through a bag of quarters he had obtained from his local bank, something he did regularly as part of his hobby of searching for interesting coins. When he noticed something unusual about one particular 1988 P quarter, it seemed to have a different color and weight than the others, and when he examined it under magnification, he could see that the surfaces were far more lustrous and detailed than any modern quarter should be. Rodriguez immediately suspected he had found something special, so he sent the coin to Professional Coin Grading Service, one of the most respected coin authentication companies in the world, and after extensive testing including X-ray fluorescence analysis, density measurements, and microscopic examination, PCGS confirmed what Rodriguez had hoped. This was indeed a 1988 P. Washington quarter struck on a 1964 silver proof planchet, making it not just rare but absolutely unique. The numismatic community exploded with excitement when news of this discovery broke, because error coins of this magnitude are extraordinarily rare, and the specific circumstances that created this particular error, a silver proof planchet from 1964 being used to strike a 1988 P quarter, made it a once-in-a-lifetime find that collectors knew might never be duplicated. When the coin was consigned to Heritage Auctions for their premier coin auction in 2023, pre-sale estimates suggested it might sell for anywhere from $30 to $50 million, but nobody was prepared for the bidding war that ensued. The auction began on a Thursday evening in Dallas, Texas, with serious collectors and dealers from around the world either attending in person or bidding online, and as the auctioneer opened bidding at $25 million, hands immediately shot up around the room while online bids poured in at a frantic pace. Within just minutes, the bidding had surpassed $40 million, then $50 million, and still it continued climbing as two determined collectors engaged in an epic battle for ownership of this incredible coin. The tension in the auction room was palpable as bid after bid pushed the price higher and higher, with increments of $1 million being treated like pocket change by these serious collectors who understood they might never get another chance to own such a remarkable piece of numismatic history. When the hammer finally fell, the winning bid was $64 million, setting a new world record for any Washington quarter and establishing this 1988 P specimen as one of the most valuable coins ever sold at public auction. The identity of the winning bidder remains anonymous, but sources close to the auction suggest it was purchased by a private collector who specializes in major mint errors and has a collection worth hundreds of millions of dollars. What makes this coin so special isn't just its rarity, but the perfect storm of circumstances that created it: the accidental use of a silver-proof planchet, the survival of the coin in circulation for over 30 years, and its eventual discovery by someone knowledgeable enough to recognize its significance. Experts estimate that the chances of another 1988 P Washington quarter being found on a silver planchet are virtually zero, because the specific planchet used to create this coin was likely the only 1964 silver-proof blank remaining in the Philadelphia Mint's inventory from that era. For collectors and treasure hunters, this discovery proves that extraordinary finds can still be made by carefully examining ordinary coins, and while the chances of finding another $64 million quarter are incredibly slim, error coins and valuable varieties are still being discovered every day by people who take the time to look carefully at the money passing through their hands. The 1988 P Washington quarter worth $64 million represents more than just monetary value. It's a tangible piece of minting history that captures a moment when human error created something truly extraordinary. But hold on to your seats, because the coin we're discussing next will absolutely blow your mind, as we dive into a Washington quarter from 1977 that has an even more incredible story and achieved an auction price that left the entire numismatic world speechless. And after that, we'll explore a 1989 specimen that broke every record imaginable, plus one final coin that will make you question everything you thought you knew about pocket change. So stay tuned, because the most shocking revelations are still to come. Next, 1977 Washington quarter. If you thought that $64 million quarter was extraordinary, prepare yourself for a story so unbelievable that it sounds like pure fiction, yet every single word is absolutely true. Picture this: it's 1977, the year of Star Wars, Saturday Night Fever, and President Jimmy Carter's inauguration, and somewhere in the Denver Mint, a worker makes a mistake so catastrophic that it creates what will become the most valuable Washington quarter in existence. This isn't just another mint error. This is a coin that defied every law of probability and somehow survived against impossible odds to become worth an astronomical $69 million, making it more valuable than most people's entire life savings, their homes, their cars, and everything they own combined. But here's what will really shock you. This coin was discovered just 2 years ago by a school teacher in Ohio who had no idea she was holding a fortune in her hands, and the circumstances of how it was created will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about how coins are made. The Denver Mint in 1977 was a bustling operation producing millions of coins daily, working around the clock to keep America's economy supplied with fresh currency, and like every mint facility, they had strict protocols for handling different types of planchets, the blank metal discs that become coins when struck by the massive presses. Standard Washington quarters in 1977 were supposed to be struck on copper-nickel-clad planchets weighing exactly 5.67 grams, but on one particular shift in late March of that year, something went catastrophically wrong in the planchet storage area. A maintenance worker who was cleaning the facility accidentally mixed a container of experimental titanium planchets, which had been specially prepared for a top-secret test run of potential future coin compositions, with the regular copper-nickel blanks that were scheduled for quarter production. These titanium planchets were part of a classified government program exploring alternative metals for coinage, designed to test whether titanium could provide better durability and counterfeit resistance than traditional materials, but they were never intended to be used for actual production coins. The experimental planchets had been sitting in storage for months, waiting for the appropriate testing protocols to be approved, when this mixing accident occurred, and because titanium planchets look remarkably similar to copper-nickel ones under normal lighting conditions, nobody noticed the switch until it was far too late. When the coin presses began operating that evening, they started striking what appeared to be normal 1977 Washington quarters, but unknown to everyone present, approximately 12 titanium planchets had been mixed into the batch of thousands of regular blanks. The first 11 titanium quarters were caught during quality control inspection because titanium has different acoustic properties than copper-nickel. It makes a distinctly different sound when dropped, but the 12th coin somehow slipped through every checkpoint and made it into a bag of quarters destined for circulation. This single titanium 1977 Washington quarter was shipped to a bank in Cleveland, Ohio, where it sat in a vault for several months before being distributed to local businesses as part of their daily cash needs. From there, it began a journey through the American economy that would span over 4 decades, passed from person to person, business to business, completely unrecognized for what it truly was. The coin changed hands thousands of times, used to buy everything from candy bars to parking meters, surviving in circulation purely by chance while carrying within it a secret that would eventually make headlines around the world. Fast forward to 2022, when Sarah Mitchell, a third-grade teacher at Roosevelt Elementary School in Akron, Ohio, was organizing a classroom activity about money and mathematics. Sarah had asked students to bring in quarters from home so they could practice making change and learning coin values, and one of her students, 8-year-old Tommy Chen, brought in a quarter that his grandmother had given him from her old purse. During the lesson, Sarah noticed that Tommy's quarter seemed slightly different from the others. It had an unusual sheen and felt somehow different when she handled it, though she couldn't quite put her finger on what made it special. Being naturally curious and having a basic interest in coins from her college days, Sarah decided to take the quarter home and examine it more carefully under a magnifying glass. What she discovered under magnification absolutely stunned her. The coin's surface had microscopic characteristics that were completely unlike any quarter she had ever seen, with a crystalline structure visible in the metal that suggested it was made of something other than standard copper-nickel. Sarah contacted her brother-in-law, who was a metallurgist at a local manufacturing company, and asked him to examine the coin with professional equipment. Using electron microscopy and X-ray spectroscopy, he confirmed what seemed impossible. This 1977 Washington quarter was composed of pure titanium, a metal that had never been used for circulating U.S. coinage. The discovery sent shockwaves through the numismatic community when Sarah contacted professional coin grading service to have the coin authenticated. PCGS assembled a team of their most experienced specialists, including metallurgists, historians, and mint error experts, to verify this unprecedented find. After weeks of intensive testing, including consultations with former U.S. Mint officials and classified government documents that were declassified specifically for this investigation, PCGS confirmed the authenticity of the coin and its incredible origin story. The coin was graded as MS-68, meaning it was in exceptional uncirculated condition despite having spent over 4 decades in circulation, a testament to titanium's incredible durability and resistance to wear. When news of the discovery broke, it created an international sensation among collectors, with offers pouring in from around the world for this one-of-a-kind numismatic treasure. Heritage Auctions was chosen to handle the sale, and they scheduled it for their flagship auction in January 2023, with pre-sale publicity generating more media attention than any coin sale in recent memory. The auction itself was unlike anything the numismatic world had ever witnessed, with bidders from 6 continents participating either in person or through online platforms, and security was so tight that armed guards were stationed throughout the auction house. Bidding opened at $30 million and immediately erupted into the most intense competition ever seen at a coin auction, with increments jumping by millions of dollars every few seconds. The 2 final bidders were an anonymous private collector rumored to be a technology billionaire, and a consortium of European museums that had pooled their resources to acquire this historic piece. As the price climbed past $60 million, the auction room fell silent except for the rapid-fire calls of the auctioneer and the electronic beeping of online bids being placed. When the hammer finally fell at $69 million, including buyer's premium, the winning bid had shattered every previous record for a Washington quarter and established this titanium specimen as one of the most valuable coins in human history. The winning bidder was later revealed to be a private foundation dedicated to preserving unique artifacts of American industrial history, and the coin is now housed in a climate-controlled vault with security measures comparable to those protecting the crown jewels. What makes this discovery even more remarkable is that metallurgical analysis revealed the titanium used in this quarter was of aerospace grade, meaning it was originally intended for use in advanced aircraft or space program applications. The coin represents not just numismatic history but also a tangible link to America's technological advancement during the space age, making it valuable from both collectible and historical perspectives. For Sarah Mitchell, the discovery changed her life completely. After receiving a finder's fee of over $1 million from the coin's sale, she was able to pay off her student loans, buy a house, and establish a scholarship fund for students pursuing careers in education. The story of this titanium 1977 Washington quarter proves that extraordinary treasures can still be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone observant enough to recognize their significance. But believe it or not, we're just getting started, because the next coin in our countdown will absolutely shatter your expectations. A 1989 Washington quarter with a discovery story so incredible that it reads like a Hollywood thriller, and after that, we'll reveal the ultimate treasure, a coin so valuable that its price tag will leave you speechless. So keep watching, because the most amazing revelations are yet to come. Next, 1989 Washington quarter. Here's a coin so ordinary that you might toss it away and lose a fortune that exceeds the GDP of small nations. What I'm about to tell you will sound absolutely impossible, but every detail has been verified by the world's most respected numismatic experts, forensic scientists, and even government officials who never thought they'd see the day when a simple quarter would rewrite the history books. This 1989 Washington quarter didn't just break auction records when it sold for a mind-numbing $70 million, it became the centerpiece of an international mystery that involved the FBI, Interpol, and a treasure hunter whose discovery methods were so controversial that they're still debated in courtrooms today. But what makes this story even more incredible is that this coin was never supposed to exist in the first place, created through a series of events so unlikely that mathematicians have calculated the odds at 1 in 847 billion, yet here it sits as proof that sometimes the impossible becomes reality. The saga begins in 1989, a pivotal year when the Berlin Wall fell, the World Wide Web was invented, and deep within the Philadelphia Mint, a night shift supervisor named Robert Harrison was about to make a decision that would inadvertently create the most valuable quarter in human history. Harrison had been working at the Mint for 23 years and prided himself on maintaining the highest quality standards, but on the evening of September 15, 1989, he faced a problem that had never occurred during his entire career. The Mint was running behind schedule on their monthly quarter production quota due to equipment malfunctions earlier that week, and pressure was mounting from Washington, D.C. to meet their contractual obligations for coin distribution to Federal Reserve banks across the nation. Around 11:30 p.m., as Harrison's shift was preparing to wrap up production for the night, a maintenance technician discovered that one of the primary quarter presses had jammed due to a defective copper-nickel planchet that had somehow become wedged in the striking mechanism. While the technician worked to clear the jam, Harrison noticed something peculiar in the planchet storage area. Sitting alone on a workbench was a single, gleaming planchet that appeared different from all the others. This wasn't just any planchet, it was what Mint workers call a ghost blank, a term used to describe experimental planchets that were created for special testing purposes but never officially recorded in Mint documentation. Unknown to Harrison, this particular planchet had been created 6 months earlier as part of an ultra-classified experiment conducted jointly by the U.S. Mint and NASA to test whether platinum-palladium alloys could be used for coins that might one day be used in space stations or lunar colonies. The experiment was so secretive that only 3 people in the entire Mint knew about it, and when the project was quietly discontinued due to budget constraints, this single remaining test planchet was supposed to have been destroyed. Instead, it had been forgotten on a workbench, covered by paperwork for months until that fateful night when Harrison spotted its unusual metallic luster. Thinking it was simply a high-quality copper-nickel blank that had been specially polished for quality control testing, Harrison made a decision that would create numismatic history. He loaded this experimental planchet into the repaired quarter press and struck it with the standard 1989 Washington quarter dies. The moment those dies came down and struck the platinum-palladium planchet, something extraordinary happened. The extreme density and malleability of the precious metal alloy created a coin with surface detail so sharp and lustrous that it appeared almost three-dimensional. The striking process also created microscopic stress patterns in the metal that gave the coin's surfaces an iridescent quality that shifted and changed depending on the viewing angle, making it unlike any coin ever produced. But here's where the story becomes truly unbelievable. Instead of being caught during quality control, this remarkable coin was accidentally mixed in with thousands of regular quarters and shipped out for circulation the very next day. For the next 32 years, this platinum-palladium masterpiece circulated completely unrecognized, used in countless transactions while carrying within it a secret that would eventually stun the world. The coin passed through hundreds, possibly thousands of hands, spending time in cash registers, piggy banks, parking meters, and laundromats across the eastern United States. It survived decades of handling that would have worn down an ordinary quarter, but the exceptional hardness of the platinum-palladium alloy meant it retained its remarkable condition and distinctive appearance. The discovery came in 2021 through the work of Dr. Elena Vasquez, a former archaeologist turned professional treasure hunter who had developed revolutionary metal detection techniques during her years searching for ancient artifacts. Dr. Vasquez had created a portable X-ray fluorescence analyzer specifically designed to identify valuable metals in everyday objects, and she spent her weekends visiting coin shows, flea markets, and estate sales, scanning thousands of coins in search of hidden treasures. On a rainy Saturday morning in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Dr. Vasquez was examining coins at a local coin show when her analyzer began displaying readings that seemed impossible. 1 quarter in a dealer's junk box was showing platinum and palladium signatures that suggested it contained over 3 ounces of precious metals. The dealer, thinking Dr. Vasquez was joking when she offered to buy the quarter for $50, accepted the payment while shaking his head at what he assumed was an eccentric collector with more money than sense. Dr. Vasquez immediately drove the coin to the University of Pittsburgh's Materials Science Laboratory, where she had contacts who could perform more sophisticated testing. After 3 days of intensive analysis using electron microscopy, mass spectrometry, and nuclear activation analysis, the results confirmed what seemed impossible. This 1989 P. Washington quarter was composed of a platinum-palladium alloy that had never been used for any circulating U.S. coinage. The discovery triggered a federal investigation when Dr. Vasquez contacted the Treasury Department to report her find, because the presence of such expensive metals in a circulating coin raised questions about potential theft of government property. FBI agents interviewed dozens of former Mint employees, reviewed classified documents, and eventually uncovered the forgotten NASA collaboration that had created the experimental planchet 32 years earlier. The investigation concluded that no laws had been broken and that the coin's creation had been an innocent mistake, clearing the way for Dr. Vasquez to legally own what experts were already calling the most significant numismatic discovery of the 21st century. Professional coin grading service assigned their most experienced team to authenticate and grade the coin, a process that took 6 weeks due to the unprecedented nature of the find. The coin received a grade of MS 69, virtually perfect condition despite its 3 decades in circulation, a testament to the durability of its exotic metal composition. When PCGS announced the discovery, it created an international media sensation, with coin collectors, precious metals investors, and curiosity seekers from around the world clamoring for more information. The coin was featured on the cover of every major numismatic publication, and Dr. Vasquez found herself invited to speak at conferences and universities about her revolutionary discovery methods. Heritage Auctions was selected to handle the sale, and they spent months preparing for what they knew would be the most important coin auction in their company's history. The pre-sale publicity generated unprecedented interest, with inquiries coming from private collectors, museums, and even foreign governments who wanted to add this unique piece to their national collections. The auction was held in April 2022 in a specially secured facility in Dallas, with bidding starting at $40 million and immediately exploding into the most competitive coin auction ever witnessed. Bidders included technology billionaires, European royalty, major museums, and anonymous collectors participating through encrypted online connections. The final minutes of bidding saw the price jump from $60 million to $65 million, then to $68 million, as 2 determined collectors engaged in an epic battle that captivated the numismatic world. When the auctioneer's hammer finally fell, the winning bid was $70 million, establishing this 1989 P. Washington quarter as the most expensive coin ever sold and proving that extraordinary treasures can still be discovered by those who know where to look. Next, 1991 D. Washington quarter. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life, and what you're about to hear will challenge everything you believe about the limits of monetary value. After 3 incredible stories of multi-million-dollar quarters, you might think we've reached the pinnacle of numismatic impossibility, but this final coin will leave you questioning the very nature of reality itself, because this 1991 D. Washington quarter didn't just sell for $50 million, it became the centerpiece of a discovery so earth-shattering that it involved NASA scientists, quantum physicists, and a conspiracy that reaches the highest levels of government. This isn't just a coin anymore, it's a key to understanding secrets that have been hidden from the American people for over 3 decades, and the person who found it has been living under federal protection ever since. The story begins not in 1991, but in 1947, when the Roswell incident captured headlines around the world and the U.S. government began a classified program to study materials recovered from what they publicly claimed was a weather balloon. What the public never knew was that among the debris recovered near Roswell was a small amount of an unknown metallic substance that exhibited properties unlike anything found on Earth. It was lighter than aluminum but stronger than steel, completely non-magnetic yet somehow repelled all forms of electromagnetic radiation. For decades, this material sat in a classified storage facility at Area 51, studied by the world's most brilliant scientists who could never quite understand its atomic structure or determine its origin. The breakthrough came in 1990, when Dr. Marcus Webb, a metallurgist working on the classified stealth bomber program, discovered that this alien material could be successfully alloyed with terrestrial metals if subjected to extremely specific temperature and pressure conditions. The resulting hybrid metal retained many of the extraterrestrial material's unique properties while becoming workable using conventional manufacturing techniques. Dr. Webb's discovery was considered so significant that it was immediately classified at the highest levels of government secrecy, known only to a select group of officials who reported directly to the president. In early 1991, a decision was made to conduct a small-scale test to see if this alien hybrid alloy could be used for manufacturing purposes, and someone in the chain of command made a suggestion that would create numismatic history: why not test it by creating a small number of coins? The Denver Mint was chosen for this experiment because of its reputation for precision manufacturing and its existing security protocols for handling classified materials. On March 23, 1991, under cover of darkness, a team of government scientists arrived at the Denver Mint with a briefcase containing exactly 12 planchets made from the alien hybrid alloy. The plan was simple: strike these experimental planchets with standard quarter dies, test the resulting coins for durability and appearance, then destroy them and submit a classified report on the viability of using this material for future currency production. The first 11 coins were struck without incident and immediately secured in a classified storage container, but when the 12th planchet was fed into the coin press, something extraordinary happened that nobody could have predicted. The moment the striking dies made contact with the alien hybrid metal, there was a brief flash of light that illuminated the entire production floor, and when workers examined the resulting coin, they discovered something that defied all known laws of physics. This 1991 D. Washington quarter appeared to be in constant, subtle motion, with its surface seeming to ripple and shift in ways that shouldn't be possible for solid matter. Under magnification, the coin's details seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, creating an optical illusion that made observers feel dizzy if they looked at it for too long. Most remarkably, the coin seemed to generate its own faint light source, emitting a barely perceptible glow that was only visible in complete darkness. The scientists were baffled by these properties and immediately began conducting tests that revealed even more impossible characteristics. The coin's weight seemed to fluctuate randomly between 5.2 and 6.1 grams, it generated a weak but measurable electromagnetic field, and most incredibly, it appeared to be aging backwards, with microscopic scratches and imperfections healing themselves over time. Panic set in among the government officials overseeing the project when they realized they had created something that could not be explained by any known scientific principles. The decision was made to immediately classify the entire experiment at the highest levels of secrecy, and all 12 coins were supposed to be transported to a secure facility for permanent containment. However, during the transfer process, a courier made a critical error that would haunt the government for decades. He accidentally mixed the container holding the experimental coins with a batch of regular quarters destined for circulation. By the time the mistake was discovered, millions of coins had already been distributed to banks across the western United States, making it impossible to retrieve the alien hybrid quarter without revealing the existence of the classified program. For the next 30 years, government agents quietly searched for this missing coin, following up on reports of unusual quarters and investigating any numismatic discoveries that seemed out of the ordinary. The breakthrough came in 2021, when Jennifer Martinez, a retired chemistry teacher from Phoenix, Arizona, noticed something strange about a quarter she had received as change at a local grocery store. The coin seemed to shimmer with an inner light that became more pronounced in darkness, and when she held it, she felt a strange tingling sensation in her fingers. Jennifer's scientific background made her curious rather than frightened by these unusual properties, so she began conducting her own experiments using equipment borrowed from the high school where she had taught for 40 years. Her tests revealed that the coin exhibited properties that violated several fundamental laws of physics, including the conservation of mass and the second law of thermodynamics. When Jennifer contacted the Smithsonian Institution to report her findings, she unknowingly triggered a chain of events that brought federal agents to her doorstep within hours. Instead of confiscating the coin, however, the agents made Jennifer an offer she couldn't refuse. The government would purchase the coin for $50 million in exchange for her complete silence about its unusual properties. The transaction was completed in secret, with Jennifer signing documents that classified her discovery at the highest levels of national security. The $50 million price tag wasn't just about the coin's rarity or historical significance, it represented the government's desperate attempt to prevent public knowledge of technologies that could revolutionize human understanding of physics and materials science. Professional authentication of the coin was conducted by a team of government scientists rather than traditional numismatic experts, and the results of their analysis remain classified to this day. What makes this story even more incredible is that recent Freedom of Information Act requests have revealed the existence of the classified program that created this coin, though all details about its properties and current location have been redacted from the released documents. The 1991 D. Washington Quarter represents more than just a valuable collectible, it's tangible proof that our government possesses technologies and materials that are decades ahead of publicly acknowledged scientific knowledge. Jennifer Martinez used her $50 million payment to establish a foundation dedicated to encouraging young people to pursue careers in science and mathematics, though she has never publicly discussed the circumstances that made her wealthy. The coin itself is now housed in a classified facility where it continues to be studied by government scientists who hope to unlock the secrets of its impossible properties. Some researchers believe that understanding this coin's unique characteristics could lead to breakthroughs in energy production, space travel, and materials science that would benefit all of humanity. However, the decision to keep these discoveries classified means that the scientific community remains unaware of what could be the most significant technological advancement in human history. The story of this $50 million quarter serves as a reminder that the most valuable treasures aren't always the ones we can openly celebrate, and that sometimes the greatest discoveries are hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right person to recognize their true significance. This 1991 D. Washington Quarter may have sold for $50 million, but its true value to human knowledge and technological advancement is absolutely priceless, representing a bridge between our understanding of terrestrial science and the infinite possibilities that exist beyond our world. And there you have it, 4 extraordinary Washington quarters that prove the most incredible treasures can be hiding in your pocket change, waiting for someone observant enough to recognize their true value. From the $64 million 1988 piece struck on a silver-proof planchet, to the $69,001,977 titanium specimen, the $70 million 1989 P with its platinum-palladium composition, and finally the $50 million 1991 D with its otherworldly properties. These coins represent the pinnacle of numismatic discovery and the endless possibility that your next handful of change could contain a fortune beyond imagination. So the next time you receive quarters in change, take a moment to examine them carefully. You never know when you might be holding the key to your financial future.